discern between right and wrong. God will give you over to a mind that cannot discern between light and darkness. God will give you over to a mind that cannot discern between moral and immorality. Come on, somebody. If you don't believe it, I posted some on my page. In Facebook. Come on, somebody. An evangelist, a well-known preacher, is on the panel of judges for a show that record folk having live sex on TV. They go in a soundproof box. They have sex. And she had the audacity. She had the mutilated gall to say that God instructed her to be a judge on the show. I posted on my page, stop lying on God. Come on, somebody. And she's an evangelist that they use around here all the time. I ain't gonna call her name. Go on my page. If you're bone, click like. If you're timid, keep going. Come on, somebody. But you got to call it out. No morals. Refuse to retain God in their conscience. Come on, somebody. God will turn you over. You'll believe a lie rather than believe the truth. A good friend of mine got on the page and said, she said it in her post, that the woman of God is being attacked by religious demons. They can't tell light from God will turn you over to where you don't even know good from evil. Just because she's who she is.
That's right now.
Hollywood is buying preachers left and right. Come on, son. You see, there's something about us. We want the choices, but we don't want the consequences of our choices. That's the problem. We think we can make a choice like that and people of God don't say nothing. Come on, somebody. Oh, we want to make bad choices, but we don't want the consequences thereof. Amen. But now, because God, He decreased. Amen. In other words, He divinely self-defaced as it relates to His own omnipotence. He didn't reduce His omniscience. Amen. Which means that He knows what we are doing. He knows what we're going to choose before we choose it. But if every time, amen, you choose something, amen, that He didn't approve of, and He interfered with your choice, then you would not be free will. You wouldn't have free will. So sometimes God let us go on and choose to make the bad choices. Come on, somebody. Free will, you see, necessitates that I can choose whatever I want when I want. But the problem with free will is I got to live with the consequences of my choices. Come on, somebody. I got to live with the consequences. Now, amen, we use that against God. Oh, women do it all the time. We like to blame God. We play the blame game. Yes, we do. When we make all of our bad mistakes, we say things like, God, if you knew that man was going to treat me like that, you should have never, amen, let me choose that man. Come on, somebody. How could you let me choose that man? Well, I come to tell you, when mama told you to Baby, you don't want to deal with this. Come on, somebody. You know what I'm talking about. You don't need this mess. I come to tell you that was God. But you just had to have it. You had to have it. So now you got to live with the consequences. Now don't be asking God to come raise up a standard. Amen. Against that devil when he comes at you like a flood. Come on, somebody. Because when you made that decision that you wanted him, you shut God out. And when you made that bad decision, you left God out of the equation. So, baby, you just better get ready to endure hardness like a good soldier. Because you grabbed that monster all by yourself. Come on, somebody. My God, in chapter number 2, he deals with the Jews. They also have not retained God in their conscience. You have the Torah, you have the Pentateuch. Come on, somebody. You had the cloud by day. You had the pillar of fire by night. And by the time we get to chapter 3, Paul concluded that all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. So in chapter number 4, he begins to deal with justification. He says that we cannot justify ourselves no more than Abraham can justify having a baby at 100 and Sarah at 90. Amen, amen. That's a double impossibility. So it is that you and I, we cannot justify ourselves, amen, because our mind are trialless. In other words, we can't justify ourselves without trialless mind. Amen, because we're so reprobate that we didn't even choose to come to God without his spirit drawing us. Come on, somebody. No one comes to God except the spirit pulls, except the spirit draws. We are here in this place because we're chosen in him before the foundation of the world. And it is his spirit that drew us to him. One would think that once you're justified by Christ through salvation, then it'll be an easy ride. You know, we just skip to slip right in and make it through without any difficulties. But the truth of the matter is that God has to raise us and bring us from what we used to be